Hey friends, it's Jabbadoodles or Crow, whichever one you decide to use. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my new apartment. So I have a lot of really exciting updates for you guys. Between my last video and now, a lot has changed. Obviously I've moved, not too much exciting there, I've just moved. I'm in my own little apartment now, which means that I have a lot more time and space to make content for you, as well as to expand myself as an artist, which I'm very, very excited about. I'm getting ready to, actually, I jump ahead. What is that, you may say? Great question. That is my website! Ah, yes! So, some of you guys already know, as I've already announced this on my TikTok, which is linked down below, and my Instagram, but I do have a website now. Yes, finally. And I also have my own domain, so you can reach me and my website at www.jabbadoodles.com. So, and my website contains my portfolio, digital and traditional, as well as my contact information for any business inquiries and commission stuff. So, for anyone who wants to work with me or any, business-related things, please contact me through my website because I have my email link there. And anyone else who wants to reach out to me for like art advice, content ideas, this, that, and the other, you can reach me through my Instagram DMs. It is always open to you guys, and I read everything that everyone sends me. And my last video was a how to improve this drawing type video, and my submissions for that are still open. I plan to make that a series on this account, and I really do hope that you guys continue to enjoy those kind of videos. I got a lot of really good engagement on that video, despite my channel still being quite small, but I got a lot of really good feedback on that video, and a lot of people really liked it. So I will continue to link my Discord down below for you guys to make art submissions, and I will always make videos on those, and I will always respond to those submissions. In addition, starting my Speedpaint now. This is part of a series that I'm releasing on my shop. Yeah. So on my website, starting September of 2024 this year, I will be having a shop launch where I will be selling prints of many kinds, including a 4-part series of seasonal ladies, and this is the first of the 4. This one is autumn, and if you guys didn't read the title, this is autumn. And I'm really excited to post the remainder of this series because I'm really, really proud of the work that I've created for this, and it's going to be a part of my new shop. My shop, again, will be opening September 2024, and it will be part of my website, and I will be announcing that on my TikTok, my Instagram, as well as my YouTube whenever that is up. And then I'll also have a banner on my website to redirect you guys to my shop because it will be embedded there. So moving forward, now that all of that is out the way, today's video is going to be me trying to fill 20 minutes worth of content with general art advice because I have received many burning questions on art over the course of time. I get a lot of questions about like where to start with art and like where to start with traditional art, where to start with digital art, this, that, and the other, and it's just like, guys, I can't answer all that. So I decided to compile all that into one big fat video because I know that I can talk about art advice for at least 20 minutes. And to start, I think we're gonna go ahead and just dive right into this because you guys are probably using this as background noise anyways. I really hope so. Should I put Subway Surfers down there too? Do you know that mark thing is like jingle 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 jingle? I'm gonna start doing that at my videos so you guys can pay attention and watch through my whole videos because I see how long you guys watch these videos for. I see it, and you guys are watching my videos all the way through, and that's not good. You're not getting the full Jabbadoodles experience. You're not gonna see the full experience. Watch the whole video. Anyways, sorry, I had a momentary lapse of sanity. But I think diving right into it, I think my biggest question that I get is where to start with digital art. I think my biggest philosophy with art as a whole, if I'm going to start with where to start with digital art, is that you do not need a lot. Like, a little goes a long way, and you don't need the finest of supplies. You don't need a Wacom Cintiq, okay? You do not need a Wacom Cintiq to start your art journey. You do not need a lot. Like, it's nice to have a lot, but you do not need a lot to start. And that goes for digital art and traditional art. So currently my setup consists of a Pt.1 as well as a MacBook Pro. I have like the 2021 version, I think. Whatever the newest one before the newest one was. And yeah, it has like 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of data, like pretty good comfortable space if you want to do any video editing, any any large scale like rendering processing. Like I feel like 16 gigabytes of RAM is like a really good place, like a really comfortable place to be. But I didn't start that way. I started with this little HP that had like half a gigabyte of RAM and a little Pt.1 tablet that I got off of Amazon. My first program was in fact MS Paint, and then I moved to Fire Alpaca, which is a program that I still swear by. Like when people say where to start, and I never recommend paid programs, because if you want to start, you don't know where to start, and I feel like you shouldn't buy something if you don't know where to start. So I think the best place to start with digital art is, especially like, pressure sensitivity is so important in art. It's not a necessity, but it is very nice to have. So I always recommend a graphics tablet, like a USB graphics tablet, or if you have a Mac and works on Mac too, you can get a female USB to a male USB-C adapter. Plug that all the way into your MacBook, install the driver, you know how it goes. Or if you don't, figure it out. A basic like drawing pad is honestly a great place to start. My favorite brands are, this is not sponsored, by the way, but if you want to sponsor me, I have a certificate in business administration. Please sponsor me. My favorite brands that I always recommend first is obviously Galman, because it is a very trusted brand that I know, and Pt.1. Like Pt.1 is like a staple, I feel. And for the quality that you get, it is absolutely affordable. And not to diss Wacom, you know, not to ruin any further future partnerships, but it's not that I don't like Wacom, but I definitely do not recommend it for beginner artists. If you want a luxury feel to your setup, go for it. But I feel like to start, to save money too, starting with a Galman or a Pt.1 drawing pad is honestly my favorite. Pt.1 has really good drivers, has great accessibility options. I feel like it's great ease of access. And then Galman is also really great too. Like their products are really nice. I really enjoy like the interface, and I also enjoy the compatibility with like Mac and Windows. Anywhere, and then I can download the driver obviously like online, but like most drivers are available online. But those are like honestly where you should start. And using programs like MS Paint is also okay. Like just because it's free and just because it's default doesn't mean that it's bad by any means. Getting a feel for your tablet is honestly the first step in getting into digital art, is understanding that coordination, training your eyes to your hands. Unless you're drawing on an iPad, then that's like a different story. But if you want to start with desktop digital art, I definitely say going for that. And my favorite free programs is probably Fire Alpaca, Metabang, and Krita. Krita is my absolute favorite, but that's more of an advanced side because it has more of like a Clip Studio Paint Photoshop vibe to it, and it can be a little difficult to navigate for beginners. So I think with the most simplest interface to start with is Fire Alpaca, as it is available for Apple, Windows, and Linux, which I enjoy because I had my HP laptop that I started with, I ended up converting to a Linux operating software, and it also worked there, which was awesome. But yeah, and then just honestly learning how to navigate the program is really where you need to start. Getting a feel for it, and really just drawing what makes you happy, because you're learning. Why rush it? And another question I often get too is where to start with screen tablets. And again, I recommend Pt.1 as a great starter screen tablet. My first drawing monitor was a Pt.1 Pro 13. I swear by that. I am selling mine, and it really, really hurts to do it because I'm so I get really attached to my art stuff, but I'm not using her anymore, and so I'm selling it now. But I really swear by that for many, many years, and I used that from 7th grade up until my senior year of high school. I used that bad boy for a while, and I really, really loved it. It maintained its quality great, it had great screen resolution, and it also was great for extended display. It was fully compatible. Great place to start. I'm not a fan of Speedpaint because my first experience with them was a faulty driver, and I'm a first impressions kind of girl, and if I don't like you the first time, but I know Speedpaint has really been upping their game, and I think that they have really good smaller sized graphics tablets as well as larger sized graphic tablets, and then obviously Galman is great too. But screen tablets are a lot easier to navigate. You just have to have a little bit of technological literacy to make sure that you're installing the driver correctly, knowing how to calibrate your screen, and making sure you're programming your keys correctly, in addition to knowing if you want to duplicate your screen or do a dual monitor screen. I'm a full believer in dual monitor. Have been doing dual monitors since middle school. Ever since I figured out how to do that bad boy on my last Dell laptop, it's over. Taking baby steps is honestly the most important thing because you kind of gotta acclimate, partial acclimate, you know, kind of like full acclimate to that. And jumping right into like the Cintiq, the whole Wacom universe, isn't my favorite place to start. I personally just don't like Wacom because it's really overpriced for what you get. And I kind of like sleek designs anyways, which is why I really enjoy my camera tablet. But anyways, I digress, and this is where we move to the next general art tip, and that is where to start with traditional art. I get a lot of questions on how I've been able to improve so quickly, especially at my age. My art's been pretty stagnant lately because I've kind of reached a comfortable place for my art. I'm really just working on like, you know, the different kind of coloring, making sure that my lighting's correct. But like, I feel like I really do have like anatomy down. So it's not perfect, of course, but I generally understand like, I deeply understand anatomy. I deeply understand fabric. I deeply understand lighting. And a lot of people don't know where to really start with trying to improve your art. And a lot of people say, just draw every day, but you don't gotta draw every day. Anyways, you do not gotta draw every day. My biggest thing is photo studies really helped me. And for other people, a lot of people have also sought improvement through tracing. And tracing other people's art, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Tracing models and 3D figures, however, perfectly acceptable, in my opinion. I feel like a key way to draw is to teach your hand how to move. Because your brain doesn't have the same information as your hand, and you have to train your hand how to do things your brain can do. Like, you can perfectly imagine a shrimp in your brain, but can you draw that shrimp the way you imagine it? Probably not, because your hand doesn't have that information that your brain does. So the biggest way that I've trained myself to get like head angles down, to get lighting down, to get anatomy down, poses, all the folds and the body, all the rolls and all the meat and all the curves. Anyways, it's really just by doing photo studies. I break things down into geometric shapes, and that is something I've mentioned on my TikTok before, but breaking things down into rudimentary shapes is really the way to go before, you know, studying anatomy and understanding different muscles, like, you know, how your deltoids connect to your biceps and your triceps and how it connects to your forearm muscles, blah, 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 you know? But the best way to start with that is to really just get down, like, general form, do photo studies, trace over things, because you're never gonna learn unless you do it over and over again, and sometimes people need to physically do those things until they can recreate it. And that's the kind of person I am too. I traced a lot of like photos, and I did a lot of photo studies, and I always link like my references. Like, a lot of my art is still photo studies because sometimes I just can't get the angle down. But yeah, that's just something I want to throw out there, is that the way that I've grown exponentially in like my art is that I've traced and I've observed, because you have to be able to look at things, and through an artist lens, I look at things and see like the shapes, and I see the curvature, and I'm like, okay, well, I can break this down into a rectangle and a square, and then put more rectangles inside, and blah, 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 blah. But that's honestly where I start. And with colors is honestly really, in my opinion, like up to like personal preference, but understanding color theory really is important. But a lot of people are like, this is color, that is color theory, but color theory really is about the appearance of colors relative to other colors. It isn't just about like value and contrast, this, that, and the other, and understanding like what colors kind of go together, because, you know, there's complementary colors, there's like I can't remember the names, but I just know how it looks in the color wheel. Like, there's a triangle, there's a twos, there's an analog. Just understanding like color stories. And my favorite artist to like watch when it comes to like color is definitely Sarah Tepps. She's definitely helped me a lot, like in understanding like how to paint color and just observing people's art. Like, I've learned so much just by observing her art. And I can say that's another tip too, is just look at the artists that you admire, you know, and without comparing yourself to them, because it is imperative for your growth to not compare yourself to others. Like, I spent so much time hating my art and hating myself and thinking that I just wasn't talented because I was like 14 comparing myself to these 20-year-olds. And I realized that like I'm still growing, you know, and accepting growth and accepting the stage of life that you're at and the stage of like being of artistry that you're at. You have to accept the stage of artistry that you're at so you can grow, because you have to be aware and then know that you can only go up from there. You can really only go up. So if I were to pick a sequence of what to do to rapidly improve your art that is slightly subjective, is photo studies, study photos. because the better you understand like figure and curves, the better you can understand what's beneath those figures and curves, better understand muscles, better understand bone structure, better understand perspective and understanding how plants grow and why they look this way and why they look that way, and then you can bend it a little bit and learn the stylistic ways of expressing things. And I definitely don't think you have to learn realism to get stylistic, like stylized things down, but it's definitely useful in my opinion. I learned a lot of realism before I learned how to bend the rules of realism. And then I think my last tip to you guys, like just to fit this in the video, is if we're really gonna get into it, like this kind of goes back to my first video on understanding art styles and like online toxicity, but really do not subject yourself to online expectations. The internet is like, you hear this all the time, but like as someone who's been very deeply involved in internet culture, starting at Tumblr of all places, like you do not need to like succumb to the expectations of others. People will attack you online. People will tell you that your style is trash. People will ask if you've traced this. I've got accused of tracing and stealing art so many times when I literally haven't. I don't trace people's art. I'm just like that. I'm just like that. But no, seriously, like the internet is brutal. And if you're gonna have like a platform on the internet, you have to understand that, like, especially on a place like TikTok and Instagram, especially TikTok now, it's like there are a lot of toxic communities and there are a lot of people out there who are bigoted, you know, people who are racist, people who are fatphobic, people who are just ignorant in general, and they're gonna make this comment and that comment about your art, but in reality it's like your art is an expression of yourself. It is an extension of yourself and another face of your existence, and you need to understand that you do not have to listen to other people. You don't have to listen to unsolicited criticism, and you don't have to listen to insults, and you don't have to subject yourself to the expectations of people online. If you have a cartoony style and you like your cartoony style, you do not have to learn realism. You do not have to be realistic. You do not have to make art like Ross draws if you draw like Lavender Town. You know what I mean? Also, I don't like Lavender Town, but you get my point. But my point is that you do not have to succumb to expectations of online. And this goes for beauty standards, this goes for like writing standards. Like, you are a work in progress. You are your own person. Your art is an extension of yourself and an extension of your expression, and you are allowed to draw however you want, express however you want, because at the end of the day, it is something that you created and you made it for nobody but yourself. Obviously, you know, you can make art for other people, but at the end of the day, art should be about you and your expression and what makes you happy, and it should not be about like, this person said that my lips are too big in the drawing. It's like, okay, and the person's black. Like, I don't know what to tell ya. Like, I've gotten comments like that where people will be like, why are they like this? Why are they like that? And I'm like, because the person isn't white. The person isn't Eurocentric featured. I'm sorry to tell you that. Like, most of my characters are brown because I'm brown. But like, people will be brutal out there. And honestly, like, it's easier said than done, but don't listen to people who are just trying to beat you up. Like, there are people out there who can't draw, people who don't understand anything about art, who will give critique on art as if they have experience. And honestly, in my humble opinion, I think that you have to experience something to be able to talk about it. And as someone who's been doing art for their whole life and has like made that, as a 6-time award-winning artist, I think I have the privilege to talk about who you can and cannot listen to. So this is especially for like the younger artists who watch my channel. Do not listen to those people who are trying to say Cintiqs. Do not listen to those people who are trying to say that you need Photoshop. Like, you can start anywhere and everywhere, and grow yourself up from there, from whatever art supplies you use, whether you use Google markers or Copics, whether you use, if you want to Wacom, whether you draw cartoony, semi-realism, stylized realism, abstract, pointillism, like, whatever you decide to do is really up to you. And I had to learn that the hard way, because I used to copy other people's art styles because I was so insecure about my art, because I thought that I would never be a good artist. And here I am now, making like $150. Like, I make good money off art, and honestly, you can too. You just have to do it right and stay true to yourself, because obviously you have to appeal to a market and this, that, and the other, but at the end of the day, it's like, what you make is up to you. It's like entirely up to you. So yeah, sorry to get a little serious, but like, it really sucks seeing, I see so many young artists online who get so beaten up and change change the way they express themselves over what people online say. And honestly, like, cringe culture is dead. Like, nobody cares. And like, and if somebody acts like they care about your, like, oh, this character's fat, this character's leg hair, it's like, so what? Girl, I got so much leg hair right now. But, like, seriously, like, who cares? Your expression is up to you, and where you start truly is up to you. You don't need the best of the best to start somewhere. You don't need the most expensive things to start anywhere. You can start from the bottom and go up, because honestly, I started with notebooks and I didn't even start with a Ticonderoga pencil. I started with like the cheap freaking dollar store pencils in a frozen notebook. Like, you should start anywhere and be anywhere, you know? It's really up to you. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video and my incessant yapping and me getting slightly angry just thinking about cringe culture. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and again, check out my website! Check out my website! Put it up there! Check it out! Put it out there! Check it out! It's literally everywhere!